New rules and new rights. The rules of the new institution were read over each convict on their arrival, a process which could take anything up to an hour before the brown-beaten convict would be presented with his coarse grey uniform, tin cup, plate, and led to the cells. If he be a criminal prisoner, his clothes and every other article in his possession shall be taken from him. An inventory shall be made of all articles taken and received from each prisoner, which shall be shown to the prisoner, and which, if he can write, he shall sign for as evidence of having examined and found it correct. No prisoner shall be kept in a separate cell when the surgeon is of opinion that it would be dangerous for his health or mind. It shall be shown to every prisoner that his cell and all the furnishings are clean and in good order, free from cutting, scribbling, or other marks, and he shall be told that he will be required to keep it in that pristine state. Every criminal prisoner shall be required to do 10 hours' work each day, including Sunday. Every prisoner shall be required to wash his feet at least once a week. Those released would then re-enter the world in their own clothes, and without the stigma of the shaved head or close-cropped mop which might otherwise have marked him out as a former felon. It was a new world. Just how far this idea of good practice was achieved may be put in question by the testimony of some of the prisoners themselves. We shall return to this later. Punishment. As with the old workhouse, picking oakum was a regular pastime, both as paid work and punishment. Convicts were often required to strip up to 2 pounds of caulking in a single day. An onerous labour, picking oakum at least gave prisoners some sense of purpose. This could not be said of those poor souls set to grinding the heavy crank. The crank machine, Apple's self-regulating hard labour machine, was designed to be useless. An instrument of repetitive and meaningless toil, described by Major Arthur Griffiths after a visit to London's Millbank prison in 1872 as a wheel set against cogs that exercised a resisting pressure and turned by a handle weighted at will to fix the amount of effort required to make the revolution. By tightening the gears, wardens could increase the internal resistance and correspondingly the effort required by the prisoner to turn the crank handle. As few as 100 or as many as 14,400 revolutions might be demanded of a prisoner in any given day. The dark room. Strangely, for a prison built on principles of solitude and separation, the most feared punishment for Stirling's prisoners was confinement in the dark room. Roughly triangular in shape, the dark room is located not in the prison itself, but in a tower on the perimeter wall behind the main building. A heavy oak door locked troublesome prisoners here in near darkness, the only air and light provided by a tiny hole at the top of the tower, 40 feet above. Used to the bright, spacious cells of the modern jail, convicts rarely risked a second stay in this cold and claustrophobic hole. All good things. In 1888, Stirling was to lose its new county jail after only 41 years of service. Requisitioned by the War Office, it became Stirling's only military detention barracks until it was decommissioned in 1935. Stirling's prisoners were to be briefly confined once more within the neglected cells of the Tolbooth, but within a few years the borough was to have no jail at all. Those convicted in our courts summarily dispatched to the penitentiaries of Glasgow and Perth.